Good now, whenever and wherever this finds you. Today I'm talking about sortitions and citizen assemblies. I have two videos. The first one is called Beyond Elections, and it talks about how democracy has been sought for 3,000 years, but voting has only been in the last 200 or so. So, what was there before? We'll let the video tell us that.
Most of us believe that if you hold elections, you automatically get democracy. But is this true? History shows that elections do not always create democracies. They can even bring dictators to power. For 3,000 years, humans have been experimenting with democracy. But elections only entered the game some 200 years ago, with the American and French revolutions. So what was there before? The answer is surprising. Lottery, or sortition, to use the technical term. Of the 7,000 public functions in ancient Athens, only 100 were elected. All the rest were assigned by lot. Even if only 3 adult men could be drafted, the range of tasks given to them was impressive. The system was based on 3 principles. If you draft people by lot, you get everyday people in government. If you give them time and information, they find solutions that work. And if you do it often, more and more people get involved. This system worked. It increased public trust, it diminished corruption, and it fostered long-term thinking. Elections were not introduced to make democracy possible, but to stop democracy. Only very few people could vote, even less could run for office. Elections had to create a new elite, a natural aristocracy as Thomas Jefferson called it. Power had to remain in the hands of a minority. In the 19th and 20th century, more and more people obtained the right to vote and run for office. This was a necessary improvement, but in the 21st century, it's no longer sufficient. Today, many people feel that ticking a box every 4 or 5 years is simply not enough. They still don't feel heard. That's why distrust is rising at an alarming rate. What if people were not only given the right to vote, but also a right to speak? Going back to lottery sounds crazy, but we're using it already every day. We call it opinion polls. The only problem is, polls ask us what we think when we don't think. What if we had a chance to think and discuss with others first? And what if politicians listened then? We urgently need to democratize democracy.
Wow, I didn't know that. So, voting is to stop democracy and create an aristocracy. And that's what we have. We have the ruling class, and we're all left with the option to vote for them or not. And what we really need is to change the system. So the next video is called Why Have a Citizen Assembly? And it covers more of the issues and creates a hopeful message in the end. So let's get into it.
Why have a citizens' assembly? Isn't that what Parliament is? Or is Parliament more about power rather than democracy? Reports get hidden, deals get made, favours get done. How about this instead? You get maybe 100 to 150 people together, picked almost at random, like jury service, but as close as possible to the social distribution of the UK as a whole. So there's lots of different people: plumbers, teachers, farmers, nurses, office workers, 50% women, some young people, some old, a cross-section of ethnic backgrounds and gender diversities. The wealthiest 1% only get 1% representation. They're made aware of critical thinking to complement their natural common sense. They have opportunity to shape the process and the agenda. They talk to experts, they talk and listen to each other. When they finish, they decide what the best way forward is and instruct the government to act. It's about fairness, decisions made to benefit everyone, not just the powerful. The good news is that citizens' assemblies are ready to roll out now. They have been used in the past many times, but largely only consultatively. They need to be taken seriously and given more power so that our government and politicians have to listen. It's time to give people a real voice in our political system through citizens' assemblies. Government involving the people directly.
So there you have it. Sortitions and citizen assemblies can replace the politicians. Oh, for joy, for joy. So instead of politicians making the rules, we have the citizen assembly make suggestions, and we, the people, vote yes, no, or I don't know. And if we get 30% people I don't know, then we need to study further. But they're generally, the idea is most people agree with most people on most issues most of the time. And if we can get away from all this back and forth and being right and trying to win, then we'll find out that people really, when they're given the responsibility, will step up, and we can have the world that we want.